Hiya. Welcome. Yes, you can close the door if you like. I think there's, there could be other people coming, but then it's going to be quite squeezy, which is nice. But, all right. Wow. Beautiful people. So nice to have you here. Grateful, right? And today, I'd like to dive deeper into cyclical living. Who has heard of the term? Right, okay.
From you.
Yeah, nice, cool.
12 hours ago.
So, you know, it's something that is definitely starting to rise, and people starting to talk about cycles. And so, for those of you who know, who is already, and maybe you can intuitively also answer, who is already living cyclically? Right. and so, yeah, exactly. All women is something I hear. So obviously there's cycles. So what could it be about? The seasons. These are cycles. Exactly. Yeah, nice.
Energy.
Energy in what sense?
Like high and low, and
Yes.
sustainability of that.
Beautiful. Yes, that's right. So I'd like to start by saying cyclical living is zero. It is all there is, and it is one. It is one with everything, and it is moving through space. We are moving through space. It is two. It is a duality, it is a polarity in that we live. It is a three of the three dimensions that we experience, and being an observer. It is four, time, right, that are creating time cycles. It is five with the element of ether, zooming out. It is six, where we build our own world. It is seven with the world within, where we have the seven chakras. It is eight for infinity, and it is nine, the beauty of life. That's a summary. And I hope by the end of this workshop that we understand what I just said. And I guess intuitively you can already sense what it is and what it means. By the way, I am Michael, and I'd like to present myself as an astrologer and a Kundalini yoga teacher. And pretty much that's what I do. I'd like to combine those two things, astrology, the cycles of the stars, and how it impacts us in Kundalini yoga. Some of you have been in my class this morning, which is a really nice way to enliven or to awaken the nervous system, which processes the information, and for me is our way of liberation. But what I like to present myself as more and more, and I want to invite you to do, is my name, Michael, right? We're given a name, which in Sanskrit, what does nam mean?
Name.
Name, exactly. And what does it stand for? What is the meaning of name, nam?
Latin is nomen est omen.
Right.
Yeah.
So exactly. What does that? Because maybe some people don't know.
Like it's kind of, it has already a meaning. Like it's like a prediction almost. Like it has a certain meaning into your name.
Exactly. Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you, man. Nam also means reverence. To bow to have respect for that omen that is being presented. So we are invited to live our name. We have chosen that before we come into this life. And Michael is Hebrew for who is like God, ? So it's a philosophical question and at the same time an answer. Right? And for me, that's my quest through astrology, through Kundalini Yoga, to understand and why are we here and why are we human? You know, human means earth, humus, human, that's the word in it. And so there's a reason why the word ether, heart, and earth share the same syllables. They're all the same, right? And so, to be human, I am human. To say I am Michael, that's why we're here, to have a spiritual experience, or to have a physical experience as a spiritual being. And so, you know, in today's way of living, we're noticing we are shifting timelines. People are starting to feel like things are shifting. AI is breathing in our neck. And our existence is starting to be questioned. Are we going to survive? And is the way we live currently the right way? Or is it time to change? I don't know. We're looking for solutions, all of us. That's why we're here, right? And to also experience ourselves and to have some inner peace. But at the same time, we're all on a quest to understand who we are and why we have the name that we have. And I think, for me, cyclical living is this one of the solutions to the existential problems that we're facing. And not just a solution. For me, actually, it is the basis of life. It is the reason for our existence. And I hope to show you that in what I'm about to share with you is our origin story, where we come from, and that cyclical living is the basis in that. Because if we look at kyklos, kyklos is Greek for circle, right? And it is a circle. And so the circle encompasses everything. It is the only way for us as humans to understand what infinity means. Think about it. Because a sphere around us, endlessly, left, right, up, down, front, back. These are 6 directions into infinity. And we are all of it, and it starts with us. And so that already is the zero of everything and nothing at the same time. So cyclical living is understanding that we are the all, and that there is something. I just got a new daughter, and so I got this toy, and I was like, now that is amazing. I'm going to take that with me because in one way it connects me to my daughter, but at the same time it can also explain that inside this infinity, there is something that we can create, and that becomes the one. That is what, the circle then is spirit. Spirit in what? In the duality. West versus east, or light versus dark, or north versus south. That's the two, the duality, right? Cycles are being created because of those two, the polarity that we're in. That is what the word spirituality is, by the way. Spirit in duality, spirituality. And spirit, that energy that we are taking in. How do we take in spirit? Spirit is another word for what? For what could we say as well for the word spirit? What other terms, synonyms?
Soul.
Soul, yeah?
Essence.
What's that?
Essence.
Oh, nice. I like it. Our essence, right? And another word I like to use is energy. Because, where does the word breathing come from? Inspirare, bringing spirit in. So we bring spirit energy in through various ways in our bodies, through food, through the people around us, right? Through water, through breathing. And spirituality then is our responsibility, what we do with that energy. To, create something in our world, to impact people around us in the best possible way. That's our responsibility, and that means integrity. Do you know what does integrity mean?
Real.
What's that?
Realness.
Right, realness. Why is it realness? Because you say what you do. You are integrating that energy. And so thus, like I just said, Kundalini Yoga works on the nervous system, and nervous system processes what? Energy, spirit. So the more energy you process, the more energy you can give, the more responsibility you have. But the more fun it also becomes. And sometimes on the hero's journey, it's fucking difficult, right? And I think we all experience that hero's journey. So if you think about it too, those 6 directions are presented inside of us, right? If I were to stand up, right, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. The cross of Jesus Christ. And so we have east, we have north, we have west, we have south, and we choose the direction we go to. We can walk, right? And that's our path, the path that we create. So as I already said, we have the 0. There's everything encompassed in here. And then inside that spirit, there has to be something that, if we are to experience something that is created. Now, anybody here know a little bit of astrology? A little bit. Do you know what this stands for, this glyph in astrology?
The zodiac?
Sure, that too, of course, yes. But if you were to also... Exactly. So this is the sun. Why would the sun be represented as the circle of spirit with a creative dot potential, the prakriti, for those of you who do yoga, the creative potential? Why would it be represented like that?
Because heat creates energy.
Yeah. Nice, I like it. Heat creates energy, right? And so the sun is the center of our universe, of our solar system. And that way also, the sun, so the planets are linked to our bodies, as we will learn today, right? And the sun is linked to what part of the body do you think?
Solar plexus.
Yeah, also
The heart.
the heart, moreover. The solar plexus is also, I understand why we're saying solar plexus, because actually there are nerves that are really like the gut, right? There's the enteric nervous system that really regulates everything of our systems. But in astrology, in the esoteric sciences, the heart is the sun because, well, it's the center of our body. And as we'll see today, it's the center of our spiritual body, of the 7-year cycles. So there's a creative potential, and that is our origin. And you've probably already heard of as above, so below, right? So as above, so below, for those of you who haven't heard it, it basically means whatever happens in the skies or in the spirit or on a larger level will also happen at a lower level. Meaning, literally, what happens here in your head impacts your body. But at the same time, we are a microcosm in a macrocosm. We are a representation of everything that happens around us. You can think of it as if you play God as writing a story. You could, now that character may be Harry Potter, you can let it write a story. You can let Harry Potter, who is a character, write a story. And that is, Harry Potter is part of you, but you're not part of it, of Harry Potter. It lives in you. That same way, God, which is another word for generator, organizer, destroyer, the energy that moves constantly, is creating infinitely. And it is represented in fractals. Have you heard of fractals before? You actually need to see this. But this is like, there's a one large infinite beginning of nothingness. And then that cycle, that pattern, as you can see, is created into infinity through all these patterns. It is the same pattern over and over again. So the without to within, it just never stops. It is endless. It is infinite in all 6 directions, as I already said, right? The spirit is the all. This is key to understand cyclical living, which is we are connected to everything. Like really, the trees and the birds and us and you and the candle. And we see it as separate because the one potential now is actually a line moving through space, because we see it from the front, but if we were to look at from the back or the side, we see that line moving through space, right? And what actually is happening, because now we're seeing it maybe from above, is that there's a snake energy, there's a cycle being created. Does that look, by the way, familiar to you if I were to draw a circle around here?
The yin and yang.
Exactly. Now you know what yin yang stands for. It is just the cycle of the sun.
The two sides of the mountains.
Or the two sides of the mountain. I like that. Yeah. Beautiful. That's philosophical, isn't it? Yeah. So the sun comes up, makes around 12 p.m. or, 2 p.m. It goes down, starts to make its way. It's 6 p.m. here. Sun goes under. It is night. That's where the moon lives. Now we have the sun and the moon. Because the moon, right now, spirit creates a second circle by moving through space. There's a second circle created. The sun literally, again, as above, so below. So we're just seeing something that is a reflection of the bigger all. That the sun is shining its light on the moon. The sun is the present moment. It's shining, and the moon receives masculine, feminine. The woman receives and gives birth. Like, when she's embarazada, how you say that?
Pregnant.
Thank you. When she's pregnant, right, there's a baby growing inside. Nobody sees it until like 2-3 months. But there's a lot that has happened, already inside of it. So, and interestingly, this is that polarity, the duality, right, constantly being created, the yin and the yang. If you were to draw the two circles like this, we get the Vesica Pisces, which creates an eye to see. Our eyes are almond shapes, right? So we're the reflection of that. So now we can see ourselves. This is me, right? I'm seeing myself. I see the light that I project. Me too, right now. I'm sharing something that I have made my life work off, and I'm seeing how you receive it. And vice versa. When you say something, you see how I receive it. This is that polarity, that duality that lives in this world. And so, then, there is an observer that experiences these cycles. The earth is now created. We have the sun, the moon, the earth. And now that line or that wave becomes a triangle or, what's that called again, that shape? A tetrahedron? Anyway, we're not going to go into geometry. But, so there's 3 sides. I am observing the interaction between the sun and the moon. We're seeing the cycles of the sun and the moon moving, right? But we have already now, in this stage, forgotten that we are that, because we are the all. But we're seeing ourselves as separate, right? So that's the observer. And that's what G-O-D is. G-O-D, the original. But the sun generates, the moon destroys, because of the cycles, right? Time keeps going. So after time, the moon is full and it goes back into the new. It's a destroying energy. The earth is where we seemingly experience the sustaining force, the organizing force. We see things being organized together. A candle is an organization of this wax and then the fire that we put on it. Things are being organized and seemingly are being sustained. But the truth is, there is a generating, organizing, destroying force. That's what God is. Right? And so we're in the 3rd dimension. And we're seeing and observing these cycles. In that same way, for a second, I want you to close your eyes. And what cycles do you observe inside your body?
Breathing.
Yes, the breathing. Okay, let's for a second tune in to the breathing. Just allow yourself to breathe in and out naturally at your own pace. And observe that cycle. There's a cycle that lives within you. It's the cycle of in and out. And that's one cycle. We've talked about it, but now experience it. Experience that cycle. How you are a cyclical being because there's a within and a without that you observe. You are that third part, that observation. What other cycles do you experience in your body?
In Dutch, de hemelse kleine krielop.
Wow, I think you're going to have to explain that to people.
It's from the Chinese medicine. It's, yeah, I'm not that good in English.
Oh, no, say it in Dutch and maybe I can translate.
Okay. Het is eigenlijk uw energie dat je in je hebt, die dat een beweging maakt
Yes.
naar boven en dan vooraan
Yes.
naar beneden en dan blijft gaan.
Honestly, that's already advanced. Like, I'm sure that many people will experience that here. But if you go talk to a person and say like, have you experienced the heavenly flow through you? And it's like, even I'm only aware of it only 2 years now, and it is still so difficult to constantly be tuned in. So it's really nice that you're feeling that. And I think it's an invitation. It's now in this collective consciousness of the people like, holy shit, there's a flow here. There's a heavenly flow that moves up, like down, up, and up, down through us. You know, this is the Dantian. Yeah. Nice. Beautiful. Yeah, I like it. What other cycles, thank you by the way, what other cycles are there in our body?
Hormonal.
Hormonal, right?
Like dopamine, like you can feel during the day that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, nice. And what other cycles are you experiencing now?
Sensations of heart.
Yes, the heart contractions, yes. So that too, take a moment, maybe put your hands on your heart and tune in and feel. There's contraction, there is relaxation. Diastole, systole. So one cycle is a tuk-tuk, tuk-tuk. And so notice, that's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And you are the third part of it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right? That's the interaction. That's the 3 inside of us. Right? Now, and also what you said, food, right? Digestion. We just ate, right? So you see the food coming in, it's going through you, and then it comes out, right? Here's some cool things that I want to show with you, that I want to show you. So, what is the average of breathing per minute that we do as human beings? And that includes relaxation, sleeping, but also the opposite, like doing intensive exercise and having stress. What would be the average that we breathe per minute? Yeah, right. So 16 to 18 times, right, per minute. So here's how the breathing cycle and the earth cycle are related to one another, which is pretty cool. And this is a rabbit hole once you understand this. 18 cycles of breathing per minute times 60 minutes, which is what? Is an hour. And it takes the Earth to make a 24-hour cycle. This is averages, okay? I just want to be clear. What is 18 times 60 times 24? Okay, I've done the math for you. 25,920. Okay? Now, you're saying, so, we are breathing 25,920 times per day. That's pretty a lot. Now, what's interesting is, have you ever heard of the age of Aquarius and the age of Pisces, right? How long does such a cycle last? Yeah, very long. One cycle, the age of Aquarius or the age of Pisces, takes 2,160 years. Now, multiply that by 12. Because 12 signs of the zodiac. You get what? 25,920. Is that coincidence, or are we designed in this larger scheme according to? Now, let's start saying, okay, that's coincidence. Come on now. You know, exactly. There's nothing like coincidence. There's no coincidence. Then, the heart and the earth. How many heartbeats per minute do we have on average? Again, stress versus relaxation. Yeah, 60. Like even a little bit more if we take into account doing sports, having stress. Again, averages, 72. Now, here's something really cool. We're going to do 72 times 60, which is 72 times 60. How much is 72 times 62? 4,320. Does that ring a bell, the number 432? Like, have you ever heard of those hertz music? 432 hertz is the Schumann's resonance of the earth.
Oh.
Yeah. Bing, bing. Like there's light bulbs going on, right? 432 hertz is the vibration of the earth, of the electromagnetic field of the earth. And you're saying that 72 times is the average of the human heart, which has an electromagnetic field, which is, you know, we tune into the earth via that vibration. Now, if we do that times 6, we get 25,920. But why am I doing times 6? Well, first and foremost, super cool, 60 times 6 is 360. But that's okay, whatever. If 6 is, we're having 4 times as much heartbeat as the breathing, right? But we have 4 heart chambers, right? And the heart, if the heart is tuned into the earth, right? And there's other ways that I'm going to explain how it is that our heart is the key to the earth. And it has 4 chambers. That's pretty cool because when we have the sun, the moon, and the earth, and these cycles that are happening, we have now 4th dimension of time. Our heart beats through space and time, and we have about whatever amount of heartbeats in a certain given moment of time, which the 4 heart chambers are a representation of the 4 directions of north, south, and east and west, which are created because of the cycles, because of the sun and the moon, because of that observation. Remember, what we just did was observing our breathing in, out, which is a duality. It seems, it looks like a duality. And you're the third part, the observer, which it seems like you're separate from it. And it is taking time to observe those cycles. That's the 4, right? And so, there's also 4 elements that are linked to the directions. What 4 elements do you know of? Earth, water, fire. Water's already said. Air. Right, yeah, thank you. So here on Earth, we have earth, water, fire, wind. All right, which, if you think about it, earth is the groundedness, the water is the flowing, the emotions that we experience, the wind is what?
Resistance.
Sure, I've never heard of it that way, but...
Have you been to Rotterdam?
Oh my God, I love that. Yeah, okay, resistance. I get it, okay. It's also communication, it's connection. It's our thoughts, right? And then we have fire, which is the passion that we have, and the sun's energy. And then there is a fifth dimension being created, which is the ether, which is now the first step of getting out of that time experience. When we stop thinking, right, there again, we're observing that cycle of in and out, and we're the third part, and that takes time, seems to take time because we're thinking. But now when we go deeply within, when we zoom out, we're experiencing as if there is no time. Have you ever heard of that? Of samadhi? Right? That is that experience that there is... It's that moment too when you're just having so much fucking fun and it, like everything just went so fast and time like didn't exist. What's that?
Flow state.
Flow, exactly. Yeah, you're going along with the flow of life, right? Now, pretty cool thing. I like this. This is maybe my favorite part, right? So we're zooming out of space-time. As you can see, this is, by the way, we had the triangle of the three, and that creates another point, which is the square, which is where we're living in, and it is a box that we're living in. This is a key word for you to understand if we are to use our free will and liberate ourselves out of this seeming space-time and escaping from it, is that now when we do a circle of 360 degrees and divide it by 5, how much is that?
18?
No, it's not 18.
72.
Yeah. I'm sure you were doing some quantum physics. Yeah.
Thank you for the rescue.
So 360 times divided by 5, who said it? 72. God damn, that number again. So what's cool is that when we have 5 angles of the 5-pointed star, they're each 72 degrees. 72 times 5 is 360. Now, this 5-pointed star, where does that come from? The flower of life. Yeah, exactly. And it is Venus. It is linked to Venus. By the way, the 5... What? Yeah.
Represent the human body.
Nice. Yeah, you know astrology, do you?
Not really astrology, but I'm interested in almost everything.
Very cool. Yeah, exactly. Venus, the planet, if you were to go into astrology and the meaning behind the planets, it is the physical body. But I'll also tell you why it's the physical body in just a second. But first I have to explain that this 5-pointed star, well, I'm already explaining it. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are that star, right? It is a physical body. But also, it is because this is the planet Venus, and this is the Earth, which obviously Venus is inside between the Sun and the Earth, right? Do you see that? Now, it takes Venus 8 years to come to the same point in the sky. Well, technically, yes and no. I'm not going to make it too difficult. So Venus, what happens is Venus goes faster than the Earth. So the thing happens where, Venus crosses the Earth and it is at seeming motion as if then, Venus catches up and the Earth seems to go backwards. Does that make sense? Like there's a car driving and it looks like from this point of view that the Earth is going backwards, and it's the same happens with Venus. That's called the Venus retrograde. It's when we look at the sky and say, hey, Venus was moving that way, but now Venus is going like backwards. It's an illusion. But that happens every 1.6 years. Now, if you're to do 1.6 or 8, well, hold on. If you do 1.6 times 5, because it creates this 5-pointed star, you get 8. So after 8 years, it comes to the same point, right? And so that's what Venus does. Do you see this 5-pointed star that it creates in the sky between the sun and the Earth? It's pretty cool, isn't it? Now, again, 72 times 60 is 432 hertz. So the heart is linked to Venus because Venus is also the planet of love, right? It is the planet of the physical body. And I just think that's pretty insane how this is all connecting, right? So now we have one way already to start to zoom out through our going within and to realize, hey, this is all happening. It's just an illusion that this is being created. Now, then, remember, as above, so below, right? So, if we were to see this as a pyramid, right? Because that's what is happening here, right? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The pyramids, by the way, in Giza, there's so much more. Like I could even talk for days about this, and I'm sure you've already explored that. The reason we see a pyramid, but what's actually happening is there's an instant projection from above below. Remember, as above, so below. Now we get this. See this as tetrahedra, like as a full triangle, right? And it is projected downwards. Now we have, you know, for those of you who know, this is the heavens, like, right, ether, and then earth, this triangle. If you do a little bit of alchemy, you would see that. But now you also know why. So as above, so below. And in between is us, our duality experience, the earth that is being created. That is the heart. So now we're back to what I just told you about this circle, and it's having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 directions. And this is where we build universes, where we build the human, like, field, the human person. So earthly experience, can you see now what she was talking about too, just to throw that in, that flow of, how did you call it, the universe, or?
De hemelse kleine kringloop.
Yeah, so the heavenly little kringloop. So anyway, you have 3 centers, 3 center points. Thinking, feeling, doing. And we are here on Earth, and we experience this duality, this 4 directions of space and time, and there are 3 ways of, I wouldn't say escape, but really see the truth. That is by realizing the Buddhi mind, it's called. That's what meditation is. That's like mindfulness. But there's also this heart-brain coherence that we have started to learn. For those of you who don't know, really check that out. It is a gift for this world. And then we have the gut instinct, which is the collective consciousness stored in your DNA. All the doing, the instincts of this earth. And so, to bring that in alignment, right, now we start to have the 7th direction. We have the 6 directions out. What is the 7th direction? It's within. Remember, as above, so below. Endlessly out, endlessly in, right? If I ask you now to imagine, to travel inwards and project a line that travels inwards, it's, maybe you know now because I've talked about fractals, but it is not as easy to imagine that you travel inwards infinitely, because when you project a line, it seems to go through your back. But actually, if you do this, then it's also like, but you know, there's something finite here. I can't travel further, but still there is this black hole. And Nassim Haramein, and not going too deep into that, Nassim Haramein is a physicist that has discovered that every atom is actually a black hole. Right? So all these fractals, we are fractals. This is just a freaking illusion, man. You know. So the seventh direction is the direction within, and now we have starting to have the key to self-realization. It is that's why what she said about the kringloop, right? Which I don't know. Is it cycle? Yeah, sure. Yeah, since we're talking about cycles, you know, the key is what's happening is we're being torn from left to right. The media is trying to make us believe that it's black versus white and that it's Palestine versus Israel, but actually we are all involved in it. Everybody has responsibility. So, but what's the key? The key is to remember that you are in alignment with everything. But if you lose yourself in these emotions, and emotions are not bad or to be judged as something wrong, but you're going to be torn in this world of duality, right? And so when we realize this, that we have 7 chakras, 7 wheels, 7 cycles, cycles represented in our body, which are the 7 circles of light. And the heart is the key because it's the mid between the heaven and the earth. When we realize and we purify these 7 chakras, by the way, you know, we have emotions. Have you ever heard of the scale of consciousness? Mm-hmm. Right. So basically this is that infinite potential of everything that there is, and that is love. If we here on earth experience emotions through the heart, and the highest vibration is love, then spirit, energy is another word for love. Love is everything there is. But when we then experience hatred or frustration, anger, we're taking love away from us. It's just we're experiencing less love. And the way through is by experiencing the emotion, not pushing it away. That's why we're here. When we dare to let the energy in motion flow through us, we now have the key to return to love. So everything is love. Shame is love. Guilt is love. It's just a tiny bit of love, where we have neglected and ignored love in our lives. That's just the message. So when we hear the message and know the message, now we can go back to our center of love. And so that's when we combine these 2 triangles and put them into one, we get the hexagram. You've undoubtedly seen this a lot already. So this is the human being, right? And Merkaba means the vehicle of light. And now we have the key to escape out of this box of time, space, and liberate ourselves. And that was the 7. And then we come into the 8, which is our... Does that make sense? This is the 8, which represents infinity. And what is this? TAR, electromagnetic field, which we all have around us, right? It's just that when we start to tune into these 7 chakras, which are the key to escaping the box of time-space, and come back to center, realize that we're connected to everything and everyone, and that we're all, well, then we can experience infinity. And the more we do that, the stronger our electromagnetic field. If you have your daily practice of Kundalini yoga, yoga, vinyasa, whatever it is that you do, you're strengthening your nervous system, you're strengthening your electromagnetic field, you're starting to feel more connected to everything and everyone around you. It's all cyclical living. And so when we align the head, the heart, and the gut, we're in alignment. And now we have to zoom in on the 7-year cycle and the 12-year cycle. Because 7 is a key word. 7 is the word of within. There are 7 visible planets that we can observe. Isn't that still a coincidence, do you think? Right? We can see Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. Saturn is the last planet we can visually see. As a matter of fact, that's not really true, but I'll come to that. Right? So we then have to start to look at the meaning first of the planets. Well, the meaning I'll dive into first later. But what's happening is that if we're a representation of the universe and of this solar system, the way these planets are organized, they're also organized in our body. Saturn is the root chakra. What does the root chakra stand for? Groundedness. What else? Safety and security, right? Saturn, if you think about it, Saturn is ST. Every word with ST, structure, street, is everything to do with matter. It's the last planet we can see. So it's the limit of this world. So here we're very dense. It is our connection with our tribe. And we develop this chakra from 0 to 7 years old. If you think about it, we grow up in a family, in a home, and from 0 to 7, everything, we're like a sponge. It determines everything of our subconscious for the rest of our lives. And then we have to start clearing that shit. But there's a way. Then we come into the second chakra. That's Jupiter, because Saturn, Jupiter. Jupiter, well, Saturn takes 30 years. Let me first say that. 30 years to move around the zodiac. Have you ever heard of your Saturn return? Yeah. It's like, yeah. Well, so basically, Saturn return is one of the most challenging moments in our life. And somewhere between 27 to 31, you're experiencing something in your life that is extremely challenging. I know I have. And I think many of you. And if you think about it, a return means, hey, it's time to close that lesson. It's time to change your structures of your ego. That's why it's so difficult. So now, Jupiter is the second chakra. Takes about 12 years. Ah, cool. That's cool. 12 years, 12 zodiac signs. So Jupiter goes 1 year through one sign. Ah, nice. Second chakra is what? Creativity, our creation. And our connection to other people too. Sex. Not just sex. It's just feeling connected. Water is there too. Our sexual organs are there. And it's our flow of money. Second chakra. So that is developed between 7 to 14, right?
Which chakra is this representing?
The Svadhisthana, the second. So then the third is Mars. Saturn, Jupiter, Mars. Mars takes 2 years to move through the zodiac and is developed between 14 to 21. What is the third chakra stand for?
Manifestation.
Sure. Also.
Trust.
Yeah, trust in self. Confidence, right? What does the planet Mars stand for? Yeah, war, but also like our potency, right? Like, rah, our self-trust, our confidence, or what do you say? Passion, sure. Yeah, two.
And the male.
The male, right. So this is where we develop our male side in us. We come to the Venus side, right? So then the fourth chakra is Venus, the heart. Interesting that we've talked about Venus being the physical body, 432 hertz of the heart, and it's also organized in that same way that it arrives to the heart. There is just like crazy. You know, it's also the fourth chakra, the four heart chambers. It's like fuck. You start seeing things, and maybe it's just, you know, sometimes it's not really, you're losing yourself in it, seeing connections, and it might not always be true, but it's fucking cool when it aligns. So this is where we know now, we've learned about the 8 years and the 1.6 year cycle. And this is developed between 21 and 28. What is the heart chakra? Love. And giving. And receiving. This is where we give to someone and receive. The ability to like experience abundance too in our lives, and to, I deserve this, or, you know, I am allowed to experience beauty, love, whatever. That's all being developed between 21 and 28. And so the reason we're doing this, by the way, is if the 7 is the direction of within, and it's linked to the 7 chakras, it is really key to start learning and seeing the cycles and the meaning of these planets, but also what happened between 21 and 28 in my life. What happened between 14 and 21. You know, to understand the way you are. But actually, it doesn't really matter, because if you start to experience love through the heart, and you can spread the spirit and love through it, and pierce the Kundalini, it heals everything. It just doesn't matter what your past is. What matters is what's happening now. It's just that we are holding on. It's our attachment to things, to the way we view ourselves, to whatever we think that we are, that is holding us in the past of the structure of Saturn. But there is a planet beyond Saturn, and we're coming to that. So then we go into Mercury, which is happening between 28 and 35. And it takes 1 year to go around the zodiac, and 3 times per year does retrograde. That's where we have that triangle from too, which is good communication. Anyway, what's the 5th chakra stand for?
Communication.
Yes, communication. And Mercury, what's that?
Expression.
Expression, yeah. Whatever we want to manifest here, this is where we express it. And really, when we align, what we express and what we feel, what we want and desire, what we've created as a project, now manifests into reality. So 28 to 35. Then we come into, this is both the sun and the moon. Sun and the moon, right? The sun is the right eye, left eye is the moon. So 35 to 42 is the 6th chakra. What does the 6th chakra stand for? Third eye, which is
Clear vision.
clear vision, understanding, knowledge. There's a reason why the moon and the sun, right? These are luminaries, the illumination. The 3rd chakra in the pineal gland, right, is when we rise the Kundalini up through a substance called the Christos, which is Jesus Christ. And basically, you know, the return of the Christ is just the sun returning from its dying for 5 days or 3 days, and the way you look at it, and returning to becoming summer. I mean, this is, you know, the story of Jesus Christ. And so, you know, that's when we arrive to that pineal gland, we push that substance against our pineal gland, our piezoelectric effect, which is just that substance that you know, creates those crystals. And now the pineal gland is responsible for our perception of our reality. So, you know, it's just the way we perceive things starts in this center column. Anyway, 42 to 49 is when we develop the 6th and the 7th chakra as well, the 7th more. And now we arrive to the sun and the moon. 12 months, 1 month. There's a reason why it's called month. a month. 30 days. 30 times 12 is what? 360 degrees of a circle. Right? So the sun takes 1 month because the sun and the moon goes 27.3 days and catches up with the sun. The sun has now moved 3 times faster a little bit. 30 days. New moon, full moon, new moon, full moon, new moon, full moon. 12 to 13 times per year. We now have a whole year. Right? So what does the 7th chakra stand for?
The sun, right?
Sure, that too. The crown, exactly. When the moon comes in front of the sun, through a crazy coincidence of being 40 times larger, but at the same time 40 times farther away for the moon from the earth, we have this coincidence that the sun and the moon create this eclipse, the corona. Interesting that so many people awakened during corona, right? It's all, this matrix is pretty, humoristic.
That's why they say if you have too much vision, it's because of the moon, you're a lunatic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, nice. Thank you for the ad. I love that. So, okay, so this is where when we fate versus free will, I guess we'll someday know, but I can't tell you which one it is, and maybe we start to philosophically discuss. But either way, my perception is that we can claim our free will, which means the way we respond to things happening to us, by starting to become aware of these 7 chakras that happen in 7-year cycles, all the way to 49. And then we go down all the way until we are somewhere in the 80-something. Do you have a question?
I see that I'm starting to go down now.
Right. Which is good, because now you're starting to become, this is key, there's a planet between Saturn and Uranus. Uranus is the planet of liberation, of awakening. There is a dwarf planet that is traveling in between those two. Do you know which one that is? Chiron. Chiron is the bridge. It's a rainbow bridge. Chiron is our wound, our spiritual wound, where your Chiron is. And I wasn't going to talk about this, but either way, Chiron is, because that's astrology and it's starting to become a little bit technical, but it is key because where Chiron is in your astrological birth chart, the moment you were born, you now have the key to escaping from the box of reality as we see it and start to become liberated and claim your free will. And so, before we continue, I'm just curious what cycle you're in right now. Do you want to share? You're on top? Top of the world! And so the reason I was saying that, by the way, of Chiron, is that now you have a legacy to give back to the people.
I'm already down.
Nice. Yeah. Which is good, man. Yeah.
Third eye.
Third eye, right. Same.
I'm on the top.
On the top as well. Yeah.
So funny because I went to Tikal and that's a vortex for your third eye, and now.
Wow. In Guatemala?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there too.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So that place activates.
Ah,
so
what a
it's no
coincidence, right?
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I know. Pretty awesome. Yeah. So, start becoming aware of this, what the chakra means. But also now, maybe start following that planet. Start to build a connection with that planet. What is it telling you? This is where we go a lot deeper, beyond the scope of this workshop.
So if you go downhill, there's also 7 years then. That's
Yeah,
the same,
yes.
yeah.
So that would be...
So I'm on top also.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Second
Yeah.
If you have 50, you go to the moon, or you stay.
No, you're staying 50 to 50, 49 to
53, so-
46, so 56, and then we go down 56 to 60, let me see, 63, right? 63 to,
Yeah, there's no one older than 6.
Yeah.
yeah, I was like, you know, I was, let's end there, but you can
Nobody
make,
we see.
yeah, you can make the connection, right? So this is our spiritual growth.
But
Right.
can you that explain, because if you like in your third eye, I have to connect with the moon.
Moon, sun,
Moon, sun.
moon, sun.
Okay.
The cycles of the moon, definitely.
Yeah.
But the cycles of the moon, the sun, but larger cycles of 20. And it's just, you know, it's not just that, right? It's not just one truth. I'm just pointing you towards, I'm, I guess, opening you to more possibilities and working with this so that there's more parts of you that you awaken so that you can claim your free will back. Yeah. Does that make sense?
A little bit.
A little bit?
It's a little bit complex, but also with the sun, because the sun is
The crown.
You're going that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I guess, you know, with the sun we're connecting, and the moon we're connecting with the spirit and the light within us. And what I would recommend you is start learning to live according to the cycles of the moon and the sun. Begin with that. Then you can go to, you know, deeper astrology and the cycles of that. But to know what a full moon means is one thing that is important. I think most people know. But to know also, today is a new moon in Leo, by the way. It's a new beginning for our heart. Leo is the sun, it's the heart, it's our creative expression. It's our confidence, right? So it's a new beginning. What intention are you going to give with the seed of the moon and the sun? A new beginning. We don't see the moon. It is between the earth and the sun. And it makes its way back into full in 2 weeks, because it's a 30-day cycle. 14 to 15 days, we have a full moon. Do you mean in the cycle of the woman?
When you're on top, is it also sun and moon?
Yeah. So this is where it's both, because it's sun and moon. It is.
So you advise to learn about the cycle, about the moon, and live through the circle
Yeah.
from the moon, but the same with the sun.
Sure. Just connect to the cycles. Connect to the cycle.
Actually, it's such a crazy thing because I got actually insomnia at around full moon, and it started at around maybe 40, 41,
Yeah.
42. I never had it before.
Yeah. See, this is where you start thinking, reflecting, and now you could go deeper and say, whoa, what is the meaning of this? Because it's all connected. And now you can retrieve back and maybe start getting epiphanies like you just had, like, ooh! You know, so, nice. Does that answer to your question? Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, so this is the free will. We can dive deeper into this if we have time. But there's also a 12-year cycle. And the 12-year cycle is obviously the 12 signs of the zodiac. This is fate-based. Right? This is what is happening to you because you're part of a larger, you know, universal plan, if you will. The 12 archangels have built this universe. And so from their infinity to within here to the heart of the earth, they're reflecting this energy, and we have to work with it. You know, about free will, you know, just remember, here on earth too, this is what Matthias de Stefano says, is that we have trillions of cells who have been here already before many times. They all have an agenda. You know, and then we have these larger cycles. There's not a lot of free will that we have, but the, you know,
Messy, man.
yeah, nice. But you know, the free will that we have, we better use it because that's our spirituality, the integrity of, or the integration of that spirit that comes within, and the responsibility on how we respond to the environment around us. So it's important to learn where you are at in this 12-year cycle so that you understand what themes are happening in your life. This is where like most epiphanies happen with people. So this is where you have to learn a little bit what the 12 houses of astrology stand for. And this is just a very like kort door de bocht, very brief explanation, right? The first house, right, is when you're 0 years old, when you're just born, 12 years old, 24, 36, 48. I'm here. I just was here, right? This is when you are in these ages. This is when a whole new beginning starts, like guaranteed. And before, when you were 35, 47, or 11, or 23, you were wrapping 12 years up. Like 12 years just under the carpet, it all comes, rises in your face, to begin anew. Then, the second house is when you're 1, 13, 25, or 37, has everything to do with money, with values, with possessions, spiritual values too, everything you own. And by the way, here with this first house, I didn't really say it, it's me. It is my energy, it is my spirit, it is my physical body. Third house, when you are in the 2 years old, 14, 26, or 38, that's everything to do with the mind, communication, brothers and sisters is happening to you. Guaranteed. Like, if you have brothers and sisters, something will happen along those 12 months of the year with your brother or sister that impacts you, that you learn about, and that says something about how, you are connected to them and larger scheme. Fourth house, the home, family, safety, security, your foundation in life when you're 3, 15, 27, 39. Fifth house, children, creativity, creative projects. When you are 4, 16, 28, 40. Also romance. When you're 5, 17, 29, 41, sixth house, disease, suffering, health, daily routine, and your work. Seventh house, when you're 6, 18, 30, 42, everything to do with relationships, marrying, but also very close relationships, not necessarily romantic. This is where we become dependent on the other more. Eighth house, when you're 7, 19, 21, 43, this is the house of death. Now, death, death, not necessarily people dying, and most of the time not people dying, right?
That like in the tarot?
Yeah, sure. In transformation, into a process of, inactivity in your life, really, but where everything is moving. It's also shared finances, where we share a car with someone, where we have the government. Like when you're in this cycle, guaranteed stuff like that with shared finances or a loved one whose finances impact you are going to happen. So when you're 7, 19, 31, 43. When ninth house, 8, 20, 32, 44. Traveling, exploring, the meaning of life, goals, the guru, wisdom, the embarking on the Camino de Santiago kind of spiritual quest. Then studies, 10th house, when you are 9, 21, 33, 45, everything to do with your life's purpose, your work, life, your responsibilities, signing contracts, your father or your mother, right? 11th house, when you're 10, 22, 34, 46, everything to do with community, like this, social media, friends, society, but also your wishes and your hopes that now manifest because you've worked so fucking hard during 11 years. This is well, anyway, I'm not going to go too deep in that. Then 12th house, 11, 23, 35, 47. The house of endings, suffering, self-sabotage, but also very spiritual experiences, things beyond your control, that you can't deal with because it's just also shifting. So This is a 12-year cycle, and Jupiter, right, is a planet of lessons learned. So after 12 years, you learn the lesson, right? What's also really cool, well, anyway, let me not go too fast. When you see that, are people relating? Where are you at? And are you seeing that in your life? Or can you remember of something that happened in your life? Do you want to share?
I'm thinking about children and the puberty.
Yeah.
But that's, every child goes through it at a different age.
Yeah.
So for me this is really fixed at this age, this age, this. But like, yeah, relations, 18, but I think it's during whole puberty, it's relations that are, that's why they put such a, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Yeah.
For me, my daughter is already 18 years in her.
Yeah, but okay, you know, it's just that you know, this is okay. What I do want to say this: I'm putting an astrology class in just fucking 1 hour. This is so complex. I'm just saying this is not the eternal truth. This is not the only truth. I'm just saying there will be things happening more in your life when you are 6, 18, 30, 42 that have to do with your relationships, because you are learning, evolving, growing, and just look at what is happening. Now, just a little bit, you know, deeper into astrology, right? This house is governed by a sign, and a sign is governed by a planet. To know what this sign is like, if this is Leo or Aquarius or Taurus, this is a whole different expression, and there's a planet that is governing, and now I'm talking Chinese to most of the people, but you know that planet is interacting in your birth chart with other planets, and it is traveling through the sky, making an interaction with that. That is how you read time. That is how you understand also how that person is like. But then you have to understand what factors of conditioning is a person grown up in, as you know, his parents, where is he living now, what's his belief system. It's just like very complex. I'm just giving you a 1 hour workshop, which is already so much that you're processing. It's insane. Just, you know, what you've learned and you're capable of receiving is, I'm in awe, okay? Because it has taken me fucking 10 years to learn all of this, and you're learning it in 1 year. 1 hour. It's, yeah, anyway.
Has it been so long
Bro, dude! Maybe in quantum time, yes.
We are in a spaceship.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So, okay, any questions about this?
I have a question, but does anybody have another pen?
After a year.
I was just thinking about that too. You took the chug, that's right. I give it to you.
Oh my god.
All right, so this is where everything is starting to be combined, right? If we learn the lessons of the 12 years coming and happening to us, and the 7-year cycles we're in, right? And we learn to feel the emotions as experiencing love and returning to source. Every emotion that we experience, hatred, fear, guilt, whatever it is a form of love. And we train the Buddhi mind, meaning mindfulness and meditation. We develop compassion for ourselves and the others, because it takes us back to our center column, our spine, our Sushumna, and our heart. And we act like that in the world. We can now experience the rise of the Kundalini. Because 7 years, 7-year cycles, times 12 is 84. And 84 is an average human life. average. 84. 7 times 12. And 84 is exactly the return of the planet Uranus in the zodiac. Uranus stands for enlightenment, Uranus stands for shock, and Uranus represents the nervous system. And we are designed as humans to live thousands of years. We only live 84 to 100 because the emotions that we store and the pain and the suffering that we experience on earth and we don't process it, our body says, done. That's what I heard from Greg Braden in his book, The Science of Self-Empowerment, I think. It is, or it was another book. It was The Healing of Belief by Greg Braden. And to hear that just rang so much truth to me. And I'm just giving it to you, not as a truth, just as something to ponder upon. If we are energy, and that energy is experiencing through us, and it is experienced in the center of the heart, which is the connection of the duality of the emotions and the energy in motion, and we don't feel these emotions, we don't look at ourselves, and we don't use it responsibly, which is normal as human beings to experience in a duality of the sun and the moon, and to keep the dark away and not embrace the dark, but also see it as a whole perspective. After 84 years of suffering and pain, our body says, done. But I think that when we start to own our emotions again, and really love ourselves, and start to develop compassion and the Buddhi mind, no attachment, in that ideal world, we live thousands of years. I really, truly believe that. And it has happened before. I truly believe it. What's that?
How long did the Buddha live?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think he lived his whole life, right?
But it's just the energy stays forever.
Exactly.
The human body, I don't think it's made to stay forever. But
Well,
your energy never dies. It goes to somewhere else or to someone else.
when your cells renew after 7 years, every single trillion of the trillion cells renew. There is no reason.
Your whole body is renewed after 7 years.
Yeah.
And cells are renewing all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not, I do want to challenge you. I don't want to challenge your belief into, is it really true that we can only become 100 years? And again, this is not what this workshop is about. It's just, I want you to think about what healing means. Truly. To live further than 84 years at least.
I think if the spirit is healed completely,
Yeah.
it's not meant to live in this body. It's
Heal
going
and expand.
to another.
Maybe, could be. Yeah. Could be. Yeah.
But your spirit never dies.
No, your spirit never dies, for sure. Yeah. Anyway, that's just...
We should switch numbers so we can check in 150 years.
yeah.
Only your spirit.
Very cool. Yeah. So, anyway, there's a lot more that I like to say, but just to recap, cyclical living is who we are. It is the 0 and the 1 of this matrix. It is the 0 of everything there is. It is the one creative potential that we all experience. It is the duality that we live in of sun and night, of sun and moon, and day and night. It is the 3 of being an observer. It is the 4 of experiencing time and cycles. And it is the 5 as zooming out of this reality and into infinity. And it is the 6 of building universes. It is the 7 of going within. It is the 8 of infinity. And it is the 9 infinite. Like 9 is just this number of the Fibonacci spiral, which is endless. And that is 1.6. And 1.6 is the physical body because it's Venus, it's the cycle of Venus, and it is how, a snail house is developed. It is how most things in nature are based on this 1.618 ratio of phi. What's that? The studying von Pythagoras, yeah. and Fibonacci numbers, right? Anyway, and this is also how we get out of the box, by the way. We are living in this Cartesian method of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3. It is a box. You know, and when we have Fibonacci 1.6, it is 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, etc. We get out, we go into exponential growth. Anyway, so I hope that, you know, you have now get in contact with what cyclical living is, that it is part of you, that you start to question the 7-year cycles or 12-year cycles, to get out of the box of just this space-time, but also just this limited duality we live in, you versus me, but that we're all one. And
But you have a momentum in it, right?
Momentum.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The cycles.
Yeah. Yeah. This is, by the way, something I'd like to invite you to, if you want to go deeper. The 17th of August, we have an event with my wife, Charlotte. Some of you might know her, right? I see you smile. And we're going to do this I Am Human, the tribe. We have a tribe, you know, that you can join every month, where we live according to the cycles of nature, to what is happening now. Sun is in Leo. What does that mean? We have a new moon in Leo. What does that mean? We have a full moon in Aquarius. What does that mean? And so much more. You know, if you just follow me on social media, at I am Michael, all right? So just like this, I am Michael, or I am human, the tribe, I am human, the tribe, right? You can learn more about cyclical living, delve deeper into it. And the 17th of August, we're going to do a whole day event where it's free for tribe members, but you can join in. I'm not sure, I think it's 90 euros for a day for a full experience in our garden. You're more than welcome. We're going to do Kundalini yoga. We're going to dive deeper into cyclical living. We're doing a cacao ceremony. And most importantly, we're going to connect the tribe members, all of them. So, before I go, is there any other question that you might have for me, or something you want to share?
Kind of, but I don't know. When you asked about the first cycle, the 7-year cycle,
Yeah.
Where we are at, I'm at the end and the beginning of the cycle.
Oh, so
Like-
it's your birthday today?
No,
Okay.
I'm 28 and it said.
Yeah.
28 and then start.
Yeah, so it's like traveling to another country. When you are at the border of France, they're already speaking French. There's the customs of France. So, it's an overlap. You know, so you are in the heart going to the throat chakra. Yeah. Nice. Any other question or something you want to share? No, thank you so much. Thank you for being here, and I wish you all well, and I'll see you around. Let's talk. I'll be here until the night. So thank you so much. Much love. Satnam. Thank you.
Welkom. Ja, actief